Since I first saw people shooting on Leicas, Fujis, I wanted a camera that was an everyday camera. After shopping around for probably not long enough because I'm an impulsive person, I came to this Ricoh GRii. My main use for this camera is really an everyday camera, and if you follow me on Instagram, TikTok, even YouTube Shorts, you've been seeing my daily videos. All of those photos have been taken on this camera. This camera is an alternative to film because I don't want to spend 30 bucks a roll trying to develop film, and all of that money that I would spend on film can just go into what I paid for this, which I paid about $800, and I got it off MPB. So there's 4 things that I really love about this camera. 1 being the build, 2 is the built-in flash, 3 it shoots RAW, and 4 it has a fixed lens. As we talk about the build of this camera, one of the things that I really love about it is actually taking it on my runs. So if you follow along with the short form content, 1, I appreciate you, and 2, I take this thing out with me, literally hold it in my hand wrapped around my wrist every single time I run. The ratio between the compact size and the quality of this camera is really second to none. And I've found myself kind of liking the photos out of this more than my R5. The R5 and this are comparable until you start to crop. So let's talk specs a little bit. It's not a very appealing camera if we go too far into the specs, but 16.9 megapixels. It's a fixed 18.3 millimeter lens, but it's actually an equivalent to a 28 millimeter, and it shoots RAW. It spits out DNG files. Now the megapixel count is not as high as the R5, so I've noticed when I try and crop it all, you lose a lot of resolution. You can set it up so that you can punch in. It's pretty much in post, but it will do it in camera. Let me explain. So it's at 28 millimeters now, or 18, and then you can punch in and then punch in again. So right here, I'll take pictures just for you to see. This is it, the full frame of it, zoomed in a little bit, and then zoomed in a little bit more. Now what it's doing is it's cropping the photo for you. It's no different than you taking it at the normal focal length and then cropping it in Lightroom or however you edit them. And with that being said, it shoots RAW, so I can still edit the photos. One of my gripes with film is that I don't really like the fact that I can't edit them. I know that's what some people like, but me personally, I love editing photos. So now I keep talking about the size of it, so let's do a size comparison. This right here compared to my hand. This right here compared to my phone. This is the iPhone 13 Pro. Compared to a SanDisk SSD, I mean, that is a pretty similar size, and these things are known for being very small. What else we got? A Lacy hard drive. There's the size comparison there. Pretty dang close, but smaller. And then the final thing, the one that I feel like you'll actually care about because it's camera. Give me a sec. This is the size comparison to a Canon EOS R. So right here, for thickness, it's about the same, a little bit thinner on the thinnest end of the EOS R. And then no handle. Once you pop the lens out, it's thicker, but that's what I love about it. You pop the lens in, you got a glamorized point and shoot camera. I know I keep saying my favorite features, but the flash on this thing is one of the coolest features. I've never shot with a camera that has an onboard flash. It's usually those entry-level beginner cameras that have the flash, but this thing just having the lever on the side is really nice. And I like the use of it. I shoot on program whenever I use this. I know it's not manual, but it's actually really nice. It dials your settings in for you. Boom, there's the flash. The flash on this thing only fires when you hit this lever on the left side. So if you pull it up, it's going to use the flash. If it's down, it's not going to use the flash. Some cameras tell you when you're going to use it or not, and I don't really want that. I still want the control overall because it does give a different look with the flash. Now this is a review, so we got to talk cons. Manual is kind of tough to shoot on this camera. It's so small. You got the one dial here, you got another dial back here, but you got to change the ISO with this dial right here. And it just doesn't feel natural to me whenever I'm shooting. If you're buying this camera for video and photo, well, don't do it. The video stinks. Maybe the GR3 is better. The thing is, it's not bad enough to be bad. It's not like that camcorder that you'll get out of your parents' basement. And it's also not good enough to be a second camera or be comparable to any of the professional cameras that you're going to use. The autofocus is good, but it's not great. It does a good enough job where I'm not really frustrated with it, but I definitely miss focus occasionally. I have it on the spot AF mode, so it's a small area that it'll be pulling focus to instead of taking the entire frame, because I found whenever I had it on the entire frame mode, it was just grabbing whatever was closest to it, and it actually missed a lot of the time. Whenever I was trying to photograph people, sometimes I only have one shot that I can take and it would back focus and then I don't get the shot, which is just not okay. And something to keep in mind, I think it's kind of a reoccurring problem, so just be careful whenever you're buying it. Make sure you can return it. But whenever I bought my first one of these, which wasn't too long ago, the flash didn't fire. I bought it off of MPB and the camera seemed to be fine until I tried using the flash, and then I looked up on Reddit that this is a frequent problem where the flash just won't fire. I hope it doesn't happen with this one because I think the flash is one of my favorite things, but just buy it off of a trustworthy place. Try it out before you actually buy it if you're in store. And just be careful with that because I do think it's a bit of a problem, and I was really frustrated with it, but knowing that I could return it made me feel a whole lot better. Overall, and I think I'll make a whole different video about this, but this camera has totally revamped my love for photography. Now I sound so cliche saying that, but keeping this thing on me at all times, I just enjoy shooting on it more than my phone. I'm sick of taking photos on my phone because I think they all just look the same. This gives you professional quality. I mean, some of the photos I took on this were used in my client projects, and it's just in my pocket. For that case, I was there to shoot video, but I had this in my pocket, so I was like, oh, I'll take a couple photos. Sure enough, they loved it, and they ended up posting it on the story. Just having this for whenever I'm going out to dinner or whenever I'm hanging out with my friends, it's really just nice to capture these everyday moments. And if you want to see more of the photos that you've seen throughout this video, some that I'll take after the fact of recording this video, follow me on Instagram, keep up with my YouTube shorts, or follow me on TikTok because I post almost every day the photos that I've taken throughout the day. But in the meantime, this thing is going to stay in my pocket every day of every week, capturing the daily moments of my life. Now in YouTuber fashion, subscribe, like this video, means nothing to you, helps me. And I know I showed a lot of photos throughout this video, but here are some of my favorites from the past week.